Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the Worldwide Gooner Elite. We're doing the Euros review. The first game just took place, Turkey against Italy. We've got Russ on. We've also got Luke on as well from Turton Talks Football, and also Lottie on as well. So first of all, I'll come to you first, Lottie. And this game, Turkey-Italy, we've kind of got a touch on it, really. Fantastic way to start the tournament, wasn't it? The Italians played some good stuff.
Definitely. I mean, it took long enough to get a first goal in, to be honest, even if it was an own goal. But the other two are absolutely sublime from Italy. I mean, they can't be underestimated in that group. I feel they're going to top the group, but I'm still backing Turkey as my dark horse for second.
I'll take that because I've got them in the sweepstake as well, as I think I mentioned to you anyway beforehand.
Yeah, I've got Italy, so I need them to win.
I'll take Turkey to do well. And of course, you mentioned there the first goal was an own goal, and it certainly was not coming against a runner player or anything. Italy had a fantastic first half, and with the chances they had, they could have probably been a goal or two up at half time as well.
Definitely, it was just unlucky for me. There was one that was, I think it was the second attempt that went straight over, just after Chiellini's one. Don't know what that was. It's not rugby.
That was a great save. They're going back to that Chiellini's one, the very first one that you just mentioned.
That was beautiful to watch. But
really good save. Yeah, and it was signs of to put an Arsenal hat on. It was signs of Bernd Leno.
Don't. All right. With Leno, I find I've said this a few times. We're a typical German player, right? They're ballsy. Leno's lost his balls for me. I'm not interested. The season we had Martinez in goal highlighted everything that's wrong with him for me, and I've not been impressed since. So
that's fair enough. But
that's why I laughed. I do apologise.
That's absolutely fine. In terms of his shot stopping, I think he can be. I think he has got decent shot stopping. That's kind of what I was getting at. He has got a mistake in him or two, but yeah.
I think more than two, but it's the simple things for me that he should be doing, and he panics under the pressure. Yeah, and as a goalkeeper, I feel that you shouldn't be doing that, especially with someone with his experience. Yeah,
that is a fair shout. And of course, was he part of the German side that went on and won the World Cup? I'm trying to remember if he was in that or not. Yeah,
I actually can't remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, but he might have been in and around the squad. I know Neuer was probably number one at that point, and
he
might have been.
He was in goal, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. And if you look at, I'll come to you, Russ, now as well. Of course, you've just covered that game for the channel as well, the Commentary Hub channel. And what did you make of that? Of course, covering it from a commentator's point of view.
I thought you were a very good game, Mark. I thought Italy should have been at least 3 or 4-0 before half time with the chances of miles better side tonight. You could see the Turkish midfielders were getting out of breath, and because when he came off, you could see the sweat pouring from his head. We had much running he had to do, trying to track him back. And as you know, Mark, he gave the Turkey left back man of the match. He caused quite a few problems up and down that wing, and involved with the second goal. His show was
the Italian left back. The
Italian left back. Spinazzola forced a fantastic good save, and then Immobile fired in his superb goal. And Insigne's goal for me was the best one out of all three. The way he just opened up his body and spent into that bottom corner. The way he did that, but with Immobile's goal, you've seen him do it time and time again for Rome. And I could only see after the first goal, I could see Italy going on getting 3. I said 3 or 4. I said even up to about 6, and it could have been 6-0 if he was. Could have come playing with that.
Absolutely. No, I think you're right as well. And if you look at some of the performances there, Insigne, Immobile as well, both getting themselves on the score sheet. Of course, plenty of other players involved in there. Jorginho as well. I don't want to mention him too much because of the fact he played for Chelsea, but I thought he had a decent performance. I thought he played well. Locatelli as well, another one that I would love to take at Arsenal. And what do you make, Luke, of that Italian performance?
I mean, I just want to point out, I've come from watching Forest all season to watching Italy. I mean, I'm just totally mesmerised by Insigne. I mean, his play, he's just everywhere. Yeah, I think the own goal opened it up a bit because then Turkey had to come out. I think before that they were just sitting there trying to probably get a point.
A bit like Mikel Arteta Arsenal, a bit defensive. Yeah.
And then as soon as the goal went in, Turkey like, well, we're going to have to come out and we just go for it. So that's left space for Insigne and Immobile to score their goals.
Okay, and then just going back really before the game even started, and of course it was fantastic to see Andrea Bocelli come up with Nessun Dorma. That was a highlight, and then obviously the ball delivery. I need to mention that because I've seen quite a lot on Twitter. I know you were very active, Lottie, when you saw it, and what was that? That was something a little bit unusual, wasn't it?
It was something I haven't seen before. I'm still kind of like, what was that sort of thing? But from the comments that I had and the responses to it, apparently that's a normal thing in hockey.
In hockey, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I learned something new every day.
Yeah.
But one of my Swedish followers said to me, it's normal in hockey. It's something we normally see. And I said, I've never seen it before.
No,
but you've got to get the sponsors in somewhere though.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'd never seen that before either. And you get a fantastic moment with Bocelli singing Nessun Dorma, and then you get that, which kind of is, Bocelli looking on at that, he's probably thinking, well, I've just gone on, opened the tournament, and then they've done this to kind of like, I don't know. I think when he looks on at that, he's going to be a little bit embarrassed, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the halftime chat made me laugh the most at this point. They were talking about the great control over the car, and my stepdad came out with, the guy driving the car's got better control than Ferdinand does with the ball. I thought it was brilliant. We were just killing ourselves at halftime. Absolutely brilliant.
Quite a good,
especially for a Spurs fan. That was brilliant.
Yeah, that's quite a good analogy as well with Ferdinand as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting. Like, of course, a lot of people have said different things, and I think one of my replies to them was, it's still to one of your comments was, it's still passing better than half of our more experienced players. So
yeah, no, definitely, definitely.
But
hopefully, transfer window will bring us something new.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody that can pass the ball, which would be a start. But in terms of the opening for the tournament, I thought that was a great game, and I've kind of got a touch on England and Wales a little bit, the games that are coming up over the weekend. And we'll go to Wales first of all, and they're kicking off tomorrow. And of course, Russ, that one's being covered on the channel by JB as well, isn't it? And
it is, yeah.
A friend of ours alongside. In fact, he's actually working alongside a former Arsenal player as well. I don't know if you'll remember him, Lottie. One of the Hoyt brothers, Justin Hoyt, is on co-coms.
I remember him.
Yeah. He's on co-coms with John tomorrow for the Wales game. And just going back up to Russ, and I'll bring you two in a moment as well. But in terms of that Wales game, what do you make of their chances in this game against the Swiss?
Well, I've seen majority of both qualifiers, and I've seen them in the friendlies that they've had warming up to manage to see some highlights from them. And when I look at the Swiss side and the Swiss squad, I think Wales have got a chance because Wales playing some good football under Robert Page, who's now the manager with Ryan Giggs having that court cases, as everyone will know. But I think under Robert Page, they've got a good identity about them. They've got good players in the squad. Gareth Bale, who I know you two won't be, Michael Lottie won't be that fond of him playing for Spurs last season. But if he can get firing on all cylinders and Kiefer Moore can have a good tournament as well, they can really cause a few problems for Switzerland tomorrow. And if Tyler Roberts comes on and causes a few problems like he has done when he's played for Leeds against teams, I think he may have a good tournament as well. So I think Wales will have a very good chance. And if I'm just going to briefly touch on the Wales game against Turkey, Mike.
Yeah, go for it.
Next week, and if Wales play like they can do and Turkey play like they did tonight, I think Wales may draw tomorrow and then win against Turkey and then put them in a really good stead to go through even in second over as one of the third best placed teams in the tournament.
Yeah, so no, you have to look at that Wales side there against Switzerland in particular for tomorrow's game. And if you look at, I'm going to come to you first, Lottie, on this one as well.
Mhm.
You know, Switzerland have got Granit Xhaka, haven't they? A name that is familiar with Arsenal fans. It does look like he's left the club now or on the verge of leaving the club, but no doubt he's gonna. You know, he plays different for country than he does for club, doesn't he?
Oh, 100%. He plays. My main question to any Arsenal fan: why can't he play like he does for Switzerland, like for us? And I think again, this probably comes back to his comments. You're only as good as your team.
Yeah.
Which I felt was a kick in the teeth for us personally, but he hasn't had the best time with Arsenal fans. For me, his last couple of seasons, he had maybe second half good seasons. So I'm quite happy to see him go, to be honest.
And in regards to Switzerland as well.
Back to Switzerland though. Sorry,
Yeah.
I do apologize. I keep going off
That's
subject.
all right. No, that's fine.
I do think they're gonna probably beat Wales 2-1.
Okay, and Russ
I think they're the
didn't
strongest
give us
side out of the two.
Yeah, I think if you look at Switzerland there, just sorry to cut you a minute, but I think that Granit Xhaka, is a fantastic player for Switzerland. Xherdan Shaqiri as well is another name.
Definitely.
And if you look at Wales, they've got Gareth Bale. The way that Gareth Bale ended the season for Tottenham, he ended very well. He got himself a couple of goals against Leicester on the last game of the season, and people are saying Gareth Bale is going to be up there for player of the tournament maybe, and people haven't even mentioned Aaron Ramsey's name yet. Aaron Ramsey's another one as well that loves a big game.
You know what? He's another one that played great for us, but even better for Wales. So he's another one I think to keep an eye on tomorrow. Indefinitely. I mean, he wants to come back to us, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it.
He loves the big game as well. The big tournaments and the big games are where Aaron Ramsey really shines. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think he thrives off the pressure for those games. He always has done, even for us.
Absolutely. There's been many FA Cup finals, etc., where he's really shone and got the winners in. Yeah.
No,
So let's go on to great memories. Yeah. Let's go on to Luke now in regards to that Wales and Switzerland game. And how do you see that one? Do you see Wales getting a positive result?
I've had a look at both of the squads. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns in the Switzerland squad, so I think Shaqiri will probably play, and I've not seen much of him for Liverpool. So again, I think he's got quality on his day, so there's potential for both sides. I think Connor Roberts at the back, he puts a decent ball in. He's been doing it at Swansea all season.
Yeah.
Terrorised our back four for the 2 games he played. So it'd be nice to watch him and actually realise it's got no bearing on the club whatsoever this time. But, everyone's got a chance at the start of their games. So, yeah, I think Wales have got a decent chance as any, to be fair. Okay,
and then just going back to England as well, just to kind of move on to the next real home nation that's involved, and Croatia is the side that England faced first of all at Wembley, side that brings back sort of bad memories really in terms of semi-finals, the World Cup and the Nations League, and I'll stay with you, Luke, to be honest as well. And England Croatia is another really good game, isn't it? And lots of attacking talent in that squad there that Gareth's called up.
We've got a lot of young players in our squad, which is very different to Croatia's squad because they have a lot of experience. So I think maybe that might work in our advantage because we then probably will attack more and they'll tire a lot quicker than we will. So I think it's a good chance for revenge. I mean, Phil Foden's amazing. And yeah, I think, let's see what happens.
And then I'll come up to Russ as well now. Of course, Calvin Phillips, the Leeds man's in the squad, somebody that you know an awful lot about. Do you see him coming in and getting a bit of game time, or do you see it being more the likes of Declan Rice and Jordan Henderson and Jude Bellingham that kind of get the nod ahead of him?
I don't think Jordan Henderson will, because he's not played quite a bit since not played until the other day since October. And on Sunday again, the friendly against Romania, what did Henderson do in that game? Nothing apart from missing the penalty, which he shouldn't have even took. And you could tell with Gareth Southgate after the game, he was unhappy with that. The players were unhappy as well. The sounds of it, and from what I've been reading on social media, and I think he's never scored for England, Jordan Henderson. And when we took on Colombia in the last World Cup and we went to that penalty shootout, does anyone want to tell me who it was who missed that penalty as well?
Absolutely, I know.
It was Jordan Henderson as well. The penalty, he's took 2 penalties now for England from what I can remember, and he's missed them both. I don't want to see him he's not even fully fit, so why is he playing him in a friendly, which he could even get more injured from, miss the tournament altogether? He's only really trained the past couple of weeks leading up to that friendly, not even kicked a ball in action since October. So for me, I'd start with Phillips and Rice and Bellingham, because with Phillips and Rice, when they've played in the warm-up games for the World Cup qualifiers, they've done really, really well. Because Phillips gets forward, Rice stays back, and Rice gets forward, Phillips can drop back as well. So they know each other work. They work together now, and Southgate's gone working together in a system where he knows that if one goes forward, the other one drops back. And Phillips as well, he can drop back even further into the back three as well. So he's got like, if England decides to play back three, he wants to play Rice and Phillips, could play Phillips a bit deeper, Rice a bit more attacking, or vice versa. So I'd start with Phillips over Henderson, but the other midfielders, like you mentioned, Mike, with Rice and Bellingham playing, but only one I changes, I put Phillips in. And I've actually gone, Mike. I can just tell you my lineup is for the first game for the tournament.
Yeah, feel free, go on.
Which I did the other day. I put it out on. I did it over there because it was on BBC website, which about one of the games. I can tell you my starting lineup for the opening match for England, and then I'll see what you guys think. But for me, I'd go with Dean Henderson in goal ahead of Jordan Pickford after Henderson's had a fantastic season for them across the Pennines from Manchester United, who those Leeds fans don't like. I then go with Reece James, a right back. I think he's the best right back that we've took. Even if Trent was still in the squad, I would still picked him ahead of Trent, because what's Trent done this season? Nothing. Walker, yes, he's won the league, but he's not really done much. But James, Champions League winner, and he's done well since Thomas Tuchel came in. I think he's had a bit more experience. And then for me, I'd either play Ben White or Tyrone Mings alongside Connor Cody, and then have Luke Shaw. And if he decides to play Chilwell as well, Luke Shaw can play that third centre back alongside White or Mings or Cody in that back three. James is the wing back. Then the midfield three, as I mentioned, with Bellingham, Phillips and Rice, which I've explained the reasoning behind that. Then my front three, I'd have Harry Kane through the middle with him being the captain and our leader. And then either side, I'd have Phil Foden on the right, and Jack Grealish on the left. And the reason why I've picked Foden over Sanchez, because Sancho, when we played much minutes for Dortmund this past, towards the back end of last season, missed a couple of games due to illness, only came on for a few minutes against Romania, whereas Foden had been playing the 2 warm-up matches, but played a lot of minutes for Man City, and he can go to speed quite quickly. And then we've got the likes of Mount, and that to come off the bench, Sancho to come off bench, Rashford, Sterling to come off bench if we need to change something against Croatia. But that's my starting lineup against Croatia.
That's quite an interesting lineup as well. You know, there's a lot of players in there that I would go with, but there's a few like surprises as well. I think, you know, Luke Shaw at left centre back. I think Gareth has come out and he has actually said that that's possible. But do I think he'll get in the left side of, you know, over maybe a Tyrone Mings or somebody like that in the free? Probably not. And Kyle Walker on the right side with probably like a John Stones in the middle. And then if you look at, you know, the wing back, that kind of, for me, is right. I think you have to look at Reece James. The way he played in that Champions League final, brilliant. You know,
he's so intelligent.
He was such a good player. Yeah.
He's such an intelligent defender. I love watching him, even if he does play for Chelsea.
And then Ben Chilwell as well, another one that's had a fantastic season. He helped Chelsea win the Champions League, very nearly helped Chelsea to extra time in the FA Cup final as well, just obviously with VAR, the deciding factor in that one. And then if you look at the midfield, it's an interesting midfield that you've gone with. And, you've left a lot of names out there. You left out, the likes of Sterling, the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the likes of Bukayo Saka as well. Some real names in there that, have still got plenty of quality to come off the bench and make an impact. Mason Mount as well.
Yeah, my reason why I left Saka, actually, he was injured for the last friendly game, and there's no word yet whether he's going to be fit enough to play this weekend. So, with him being injured, I don't think he'll rush him back into the starting lineup, and that's why I've said with Grealish and Foden either side of Harry Kane, and same with Sancho. Yes, he played for a few minutes against Man U last Sunday, but I don't think he'll be 100% ready to start just yet. And I think Foden, he'll be ready. Yes, he's not played any minutes in the warm-up matches due to playing in the Champions League with Manchester City, but I think he'll be able to just come straight in. And we know what talent Phil Foden is, and I think he was going to. And like I said to you, Mike, on the preview show that we did for the whole tournament, I think Phil Foden's probably going to be one of the players of the tournament and one of the dark horses in the tournament, is the player surprise package for one of the players of the tournament.
Yeah, see, that's a great one as well. And I know you've got England to go on and win as well, haven't you, Russ? And win the whole tournament, that is, and
to beat Belgium in the final.
Beat Belgium in the final. But in regards to I'll come to you first, Lottie, on this one as well. England. How far do you think England can go? Do you think, like Russ, they can go all the way, or do you see them getting unstuck pretty early on?
I just want to get through the group stages at this point. I know I was like, oh yeah, it's all coming home this morning, but my way of thinking is I want to finish second in the group. I don't want France. I don't want Germany. I don't want Portugal. I know we've got to play them at one point, but I want to get into the round 16. I want to get to round 8, then go from there. They need the confidence boost. As we've said, this team is young. We've got the talent. Why not?
And of course, Jude Bellingham is 17 years old, and I think it was the last friendly, he looked fantastic for me. A real top draw player that I know you would have seen quite a bit of, Luke, following the championship, and when Birmingham were playing against your side, Nottingham Forest, and Bellingham over at Dortmund now is gone and become some sort of a player at a very young age as well, hasn't he? Sorry, and he can only kick on from this as well.
Yeah, I think Bellingham's always had the talent when he was coming through, and I think he's going to be a mainstay in the side in a few years' time. I just want to touch on Russ's side. Yeah. In your back line, you realise you haven't got John Stones at all, right?
That's what I thought, and obviously
correct,
no Harry Maguire as well. I know he's injured probably for the first game, but yeah.
But I think if he's not got Maguire, then Stones is a nailed-on pick for me.
Yeah, that's what I think too, if I'm completely honest, yeah.
Well, for me, on the international stage, John Stones doesn't perform well enough as he does for Manchester City, so that's the main reason, Luke, why I've not picked John Stones, and Maguire's not fit enough. And I think Cody is capable of stepping in and playing in place of Stones and Maguire at this tournament, because he's done it for Wolves. Yes, Wolves finished bottom half of the Premier League this season, just scumbled last season when they finished in the top half, and in Europe he was one of their best defenders coming out from the back, and when they played in the back four last season, he was one of their main standout defenders for me last season. And I don't think Stones can hack it at international level coming up against the big players, especially in our group. Especially like to Che Adams, he's not done well for Man City against Che Adams when he was playing for Southampton. And I don't think he'll do well against Scotland, and I don't think he'll do well against like Perisic and not for Croatia either, or any of the Czech Republic defence. I wouldn't have Stones. I haven't made maybe for his cover. I just took him for cover, but he won't be one of my first choice centre backs.
And that's a very young backline that you've gone with as well. There's no experience in there. There's no Stones, no Maguire, no Henderson for you. So where's the leadership going to come from?
Well, for me, the leadership, yes, I've gone with fairly young side in there. But for me, from having watched Phillips throughout all season, he's took experience from Liam Cooper, who's in the Scotland squad. He's took experience from him. He's had international players around him in likes of Rafinha from Brazil, Rodrigo, who's could be part of the Spain squad as well. Diego Llorente, who's in Spain squad, Robin Koch from in Germany squad. So he's been around international players. So he'll have took their knowledge on board into them, and I think that's going to be the main reason why I can see Calvin Phillips being the leader in that side, Mike.
I think that's a shout. Harry Kane, of course, as well, is the captain and the name that everyone's gonna look at as the leader in there. But just going on to you, Lottie, as well. If you go to the side that Gareth Southgate's gone with, Jordan Henderson going, it is a bit of a surprise, isn't it? And then do you feel a bit sorry for somebody like James Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, I do. We all know Gareth Southgate's got his favourites. I mean, he rewards them for good performances for England, not what they've done this season. Another example would be Sterling. He's just got no end product for me at the moment, and I think the last performance I saw him watch was when he came up against Reece James in Champions League final.
Yeah.
I think he got past him twice, and that was it. Other than that, there was just nothing there for me. And I feel that he is going to get the start ahead of Foden, ahead of Saka, and all because of his past performances. Henderson's another one of them, and I think there is a few more in there, but Henderson, Sterling, are the first ones that come to mind. And totally with Roy King with Henderson, what's he doing? Having doing card tricks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially after that penalty in the friendly the other game. It was just.
And I don't know if you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard Lottie as well. He did an interview with Sky Sports News after the game as well, and he was asked about the penalty. Messi went, "Oh well, it's only a friendly."
See, that's not somebody.
That's why I don't watch the interviews.
That's
exactly why.
You don't want that from one of your more experienced heads.
No,
yes, Harry
especially
Kane
with someone who's meant to be the captain that day.
Yeah,
he just completely pulled rank. It was wrong.
Yeah,
I've never been a fan of him anyway.
Yeah, and Southgate actually said after the game as well, he saw Henderson going across to Calvert-Lewin, and I think I can't remember who else he said there was another player going across to try and get off Calvert-Lewin as well, and he thought and Southgate come out and said, I thought Henderson was going to go across there as the captain for the second when came as a captain and say it's Calvert-Lewin's penalty. He's a striker. He's going to take it because Calvert-Lewin was the second choice on the penalty list after Rashford went off.
Oh, really?
So he thought that's what going to be. He thought Henderson was going to do that, but obviously he took it off him. And then speaking to Henderson and speaking of Sterling, news has just come in this evening. Raheem Sterling and Jordan Henderson have received MBE in the Queen Birthday Honours List.
Oh wow, that's news that I didn't expect or didn't know about.
No, definitely not.
It's just been announced in the last few minutes. It says Sterling receives these MBE for services to racial equality in sport.
Definitely well deserved.
The honour for sporting exploits and for sporting NHS good causes.
Yeah, see, for things like that, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
no, definitely.
So obviously Luke had to shoot off, so. If you want to follow his channel is Turton Talks Football, and I go on there. I was on there yesterday, and I spoke to him in regards to the Euros a little bit as well for that. And just we'll kind of wrap it up really now. I know I was going to see if anyone else wanted to come on. I think Luca was going to maybe come on and Ryan, but I think Ryan's going to try and jump on. So I'll try and get some thoughts from Ryan if he comes on. But just to wrap it up really, if you look at that, just going back to that Italy performance again from tonight, and there's plenty of positives there for the Azzurri to take. And, how do you see them sort of progressing from here? Do you think they'll go on and win the group? And, of course, Insigne was fantastic tonight, and Immobile as well, as I mentioned earlier. But what do you make of their chances of, going on and maybe winning the whole thing?
They're definitely gonna win the group. Out of that group, for me, it's got to be them. They've got an aging back four, but the strikers aren't fantastic, but they're great, and they will get the goals in, like we saw tonight. They're just enjoyable to watch. I mean, some people completely forgot about them, and I'm definitely one of them because I was back in Turkey this game. So, yeah, no, definitely. I think this is them, Turkey, Wales. I've forgotten the other team that's in there.
And Switzerland in the group.
Switzerland. Yeah. No, Switzerland third, Wales on the bottom for me.
Okay, and then we'll bring Ryan in now as well. Good evening, Ryan. Hopefully you're well, mate. And just touching on this Italy game, how did you see the performance from Italy? And just going back to that question as well. How far do you think the Italians can go?
On the performance, well, actually, hi everyone. I don't want to be rude. On the performance, I have to say it was dominating from Italy. Actually, for the first half, if Italy were gonna, waste their opportunities more, maybe Turkey could have nicked one, but it was just a dominating performance from Italy. Like, especially in the second half, they really come out to play. After that goal went in, Italy just said, "That's it," and it was just all over for them. Yeah, I have to say it was very dominating from them. And how far will they go? They'll definitely win that group, hands down. But I'm not sure. It's a bit of a tricky one. There's still a lot of good countries in there. Like even Group F, you don't even know who's going to survive that.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the quarters, maybe they'll get that far. Who knows? But
and of course, Italy
to see who's going to break down that defense as well. So that's just me.
No, I was just going to say Italy are the form team going into the tournament as well. They were 27 unbeaten, of course, 28 now if you include tonight's one under Roberto Mancini. And
isn't their record 30 games unbeaten?
Yeah. So they're only a couple of games away from the record as well. Yeah. So I see them getting that. I think they'll stay unbeaten throughout the group now as well against the Swiss and against the Welsh as well. And they'll get to at least 30 and then maybe even beat the record. I touched on with Lottie and with Russ just a moment ago, Ryan, about England's chances as well. And England haven't actually won a group game to kickstart off the Euros. And do you see Sunday being the time that we finally managed to break that duck?
I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, I hope they got not totally dread on the semi-finals of the World Cup on their head, but I mean, look, we got a lot of attacking flair. There's a lot of young players in there. There's good players in that England squad, but it's just how we going to set up. And we know Croatia are a very experienced team. They got the likes of Rakitic, Modric as well. I'm not sure if Mandzukic is playing anymore. I don't
think he is. I think he might be retired now, yeah.
Well, that's, but I think for me, it's just defensively, because I know Southgate's he's too defensive, and this is what gets on my nerves about him. There's 5 at the back, picking 4 right backs, and then, funnily enough, Trent gets injured, which, I think is still a big loss for us. Yeah. But, I believe we could take it to them, and we just need to be proactive, and we just need to be playing some quick attacking football. Like I said, age is on our side, Obviously, experience is more on their side. We've got some experienced players, but for me, it's just defensively, that's my issue in the way we're going to set up. If we set up 5 at the back, I just hope I wake up and see the England score. And the reason why I say I wake up, because sometimes it's just boring. I mean, that game the other day, sorry to ramble a little bit, but the game the other day didn't really fill me with
optimism and hope. Yeah,
exactly. So that's my only worry. But Southgate needs to silence a lot of his doubters, me included, and literally put the sword to Croatia. For me, the only game in that group, Scotland's going to be the toughest one in my eyes. So he needs to go out there. That's what I'm saying. He needs to go out there and sort it out and show that England are on serious bits this campaign in the Europe. But I don't know. I'm saying 2-1 in it. That's just me being me, but it's England, innit?
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, and also, man, I don't know if you all know this. During the warm-up matches, Southgate hasn't picked his strongest side. He's in the two warm-up games. He was playing players like Lingard, Ward-Prowse, who've not even gone to the tournament.
Ollie
He was
Watkins as
giving
well. Yeah.
Ollie Watkins as well. He was giving them minutes, even though they weren't even going to go to the tournament. They weren't in the 26 squad anyway. They were still on standby, getting injuries, and then Trent got injured, as you mentioned. Then White got called up, not any of the others, and he was still playing them in the second game, even though he'd already made his mind up. Even though he'd already made his mind up before Sunday's match, who he was going to be taking to the Euros if anyone got injured.
This is why I can't trust Southgate. Stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not sure. You know, I want to ask you guys a question. I know it's your podcast, but I want to ask
No,
you guys
go
a
on, mate.
question.
Yeah.
I
Feel
mean,
free.
no disrespect to the kid, and I'm not gonna lie. When I saw his interview before we got the final decision of the team and that, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
why is he doing an interview? I feel like he's just gonna be one of these guys that's gonna get, you know. I felt sorry for the kid, and I feel like since the whole Trent injury situation come, it's like, oh yeah, well we better take him. Save face. He did an interview now. Do you know what I'm saying? When it's like,
Yeah.
we could have used James Ward-Prowse in that midfield. I felt he deserved it. And another issue, we're bringing two injured players. Oh, it looks like I'm sorry that shit. We're bringing two injured players in Henderson and Maguire. I appreciate that. And Maguire. And to be honest, as much as I've got at Maguire, I'd rather him than Henderson. Henderson, and especially after that 45 minutes performance he come up for Remain, I'm like, why is this guy here? I know I sound like Roy Keane, but he's
Sorry,
right.
Ryan.
Why
Can I
is he
ask you
here?
a question?
Go ahead.
What did you think of him taking the penalty?
I
I'm
thought
just
that was
curious.
atrocious. I thought that was atrocious. Why are you doing that? I mean, you come out here with big balls. Yeah, I'm Jordan Henderson. Nah, man, you don't deserve that. You're captain. You're supposed to help the young lot. Dominic Calvert-Lewin should have took that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just, for me, that is poor. I felt he made it all about himself, you know, because there's been a lot of criticism about him as well. He probably heard Roy Keane as well, actually, to be honest. But I don't blame him. You know, I'd say the same thing Roy Keane will say. Do you know what I mean? And I just felt that was very selfish from him. You know, you're supposed
Ryan,
to
I don't know if you heard what his interview he did with Sky after the game as well. Jordan Henderson, he was asked about that penalty miss. He went,
What did he say?
"Oh well, it's only a friendly."
You're the Liverpool captain.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that.
You'll never hear that come from Harry Kane. No. You know, I don't want to put too much praise on Harry Kane, but Harry Kane would not come out and say something like that.
No.
Neither would Rashford would captain first off, and Rashford wouldn't come out and say stuff like that. And none of the other players would come out and say stuff like that. Say if it was, just for example, say in the second half, Ben White was giving the captain's arm, and he went up and said, "I'm taking the penalty because I'm the captain for the second half," and then he missed. After game, he wouldn't come out and say, "Oh well, it's only a friendly." He'd say, "I tried my best. I couldn't. Obviously, the keeper gets the right way.
Yeah.
I'll try again next time." I'm sorry,
That's
and
it.
then he'd apologise to Calvert-Lewin afterwards, because afterwards you saw Calvert-Lewin walk away, and Henderson just put his head down and just walked past Calvert-Lewin, didn't even
basically just
apologise to him, ignored him, and he was like to Ben White, who went across to him and spoke to Calvert-Lewin afterwards, because then he took Calvert-Lewin off a bit later on.
But just answering that question that Ryan just put to us as well, just a moment ago, in regards to Ben White and the interview and the way that he spoke, it's interesting that he got the nod, and that Gareth Southgate went with another defensive-minded player. You know, we had a lot of defensive-minded players in there anyway, and only 5 midfielders. So it would have been the perfect time to call up a James Ward-Prowse over Jesse Lingard, and you know, somebody with a bit more creative spark, or set-piece specialist in JWP.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, mate. Yeah, but I remember saying to you, Mike, and a few of the others from the channel that we do, the commentary of where I've just come off before I come on to this with you, and I said to a few of them, knowing Southgate, he'll take another defender because he's lost because he's lost a defender.
Yeah.
Say if you lost, for example, Mason Mount to injury, yes, Ward-Prowse would have been in there. But for me, I'd have probably took Ward-Prowse because of his free kicks. But also, we've got Kieran Trippier, who's good with his free
Yes.
kicks as well. So maybe
Yeah.
that's probably one of the reasons why I don't want too many free kick takers, especially if they've studied, say if they've watched
Yeah, but it's
Ward-Prowse.
two. It's
Yes,
two
if they
really
watch
too many.
Ward-Prowse, what I'm saying is, say they've watched Ward-Prowse, know where he's going to play all season.
Hmm.
They may not have seen many games from Kieran Trippier's free kicks, so don't know, and he may vary his, whereas Ward-Prowse always goes same position near post or cross or try and score the near post. He don't vary it if he's at an angle. He always goes to the goalkeeper's near post, whereas
Yeah.
Trippier can either go to the far post, near post, and even Alwadi can either cross it in or even try and go to whip it into the back post for
I
someone
don't think.
when he's in.
I don't think two set pieces is two set piece takers or specialists, however you want to refer to them as, is too many though. I think James Ward-Prowse has to be in there for his delivery and the fact he can, the fact he can have a shot at goal as well. And when you've got Jack Grealish in there, he's going to win you a free kick. You want to have a couple of different options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, potentially,
That midfield's light as hell, guys. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. That midfield's light as hell centrally. Henderson is injured, right? He's injured. Fact.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Phillips, I like him a lot, right? But we need another option as well as Declan Rice. I mean, that's what I would have done. Definitely, I would definitely have done that. But I mean, even picking the centre backs, I mean, I have a little bit of an issue with certain players. I just feel like not really much of a fan of Tyrone Mings. I know people might get at me, but I don't really care what people think, to be honest. I'm not a fan of him. If anything, if you watch Villa, I say Konza's the better defender, but that just goes without saying, isn't it? Connor Cody, underwhelming. I'm not going to lie, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. But that's just me. I don't know. I just don't feel there's certain players in that team that say you should be there. And if I'm going to be really honest, Rashford ain't really been great this season for Man United. Okay, it's different, but he hasn't been great. Raheem Sterling hasn't been great. I mean, we saw that Champions League final. Look, you probably had 2 minutes of decentness, then the rest of you just jumped along with the keys of Reece James.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be there, but it is what it is. These guys got credit in the bank, so whatever. I don't know, innit?
Yeah, and also, and probably another reason why he's probably picked Ben White over Ward-Prowse or over Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse is mainly a central midfielder, can only play that role, or say in the central midfield, whereas Ben White can either play a centre back or a CDM. And if you don't think Henderson's going to be fit enough, I say then we lose, say, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice to injury, and and Henderson's not up to the full fitness, like full match sharpness. Ben White played there a number of times for Leeds. I'm a Leeds fan, and he had quite a number of good games for us there in the Championship. And no, it's different from playing in the Premier League, and he played in midfield for Brighton this season as well, Ben White, a few games. And if those two get injured and Henderson's not fully fit, he knows White can do a job because he said he's tracked Ben White's movement and been watching him since he was playing for Leeds in the Championship and playing in central defensive midfield and at the back. And that's the main reasons why he was in the 33-man squad and then probably being initially called up to now into the 26-man squad because he's versatile and can do a good job in CDM if you don't think Henderson's fit enough to go. And you say if Henderson's not fit enough with the injury he's got, and he has to withdraw, he can't replace him. He's only a new injury. He's only if he gets a new injury that they can replace the players, and you can only replace him up to tomorrow. Tomorrow now, not after tomorrow, he can't change any more players. So if you get any injuries after in the Croatia game, he can't fetch anybody in for the Scotland game. He's got to go with the rest of the squad that he's got. So that's probably one of the reasons why he fetched White in, because he can play CDM and he's not probably convinced that Henderson will be fully match fit for the first two games. Maybe okay for the Czech Republic one, but not for the first two. So if we lose Rice and Phillips for in either the first one or in the first one, then
Yeah.
they'll have to put White in the CDM role where he would play Rice or Phillips.
Yeah, that's the fair shout, I think, with Ben White possibly playing as a defensive midfielder. So yeah,
Mike,
that's
would you not have him at Arsenal? Just out of curiosity.
Ben White. Is he better?
Ryan's not agreeing with that.
Is he better than what we've got? Is he better than the likes of
Excellent.
Saliba and Gabriel coming through? Like, not for me.
For me, Saliba's not proven for Premier League. I'm sorry. I just can't. We should have shipped him out to the Championship.
I think if you look at Saliba, I think he's done well in France. I think
But
it's going to be interesting
different
this
kettle of
season.
fish,
Yeah,
compared to
yeah.
the-
That's
much
why I think
harder.
that's why I think this season is going to be really interesting. It's going to be sort of a make or break season for Saliba. I think really, if he is able to hit the ground running like Fofana did when he signed for Leicester, an ex teammate of his, then he could be a mainstay in the centre back role for a number of years. But
there's also the alternative that he could end up taking as long as Pepe did.
yeah,
I'm excited to see Pepe next season.
Mm-hmm.
Can we wait that long? Ryan, what do you think?
That's a shout as
Sorry,
well.
Mike. I'm just picking people's brains.
I'm just thinking-
Because of Ryan's reaction, I want to see what he's got to say.
I'm just thinking, I will throw over to Ryan as well, but I'm just thinking, is he better than Rob Holding and Callum Chambers as well? Like Callum Chambers at right back, I love Callum to bits. I think Callum at right back is the best right back we've got. Is he better than Rob Holding? Yeah, for me, he would be, but he wouldn't be the starting centre back.
Would you want my opinion on first?
Ben White. Ben White at Arsenal.
Oh, Benjamin. Personally, no, because for one, I personally haven't seen much from him. Number two, I'm looking at, we need to clear out some centre backs as it is. I still don't. Someone explain to me, and no third, fourth choice. Why is Holden getting a new contract? Why did he get a new contract? Don't understand that. Dino Mavropanos still needs to be kind of judged as well.
Yeah,
I know some people be like, Holden had a decent season for his standards, yeah, but I don't forget the Liverpool game where he got outbeaten by Jota and Sterling. I mean, how the hell you let a little midget jump over you? Someone tell me. Please, someone tell me. But also to that, I mean, we got guys like McGuinness and these guys out on loan, and they look pretty decent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What I will say is going back to some of the loan players. You mentioned McGuinness there, but Dan Ballard as well. What a player he's going to be.
That's the
He's
other
already
guy.
got more trophies than Kane.
Yeah.
This is my point. So it's like, how many centre backs do we have? We just got rid of Mustafi, Louise, and Socrates, and yet we're talking about bringing in another one. But this doesn't make any sense to me. So for me, it's a no on Ben White. Maybe he will be a good player. When I heard 50 mil, I'm like, you're drinking out of your ass. No.
Yeah.
We're
not going to spend 50 million. We can spend 50 million on Luis Suarez.
And also couldn't even spend 30 million on Emi Buendia, who's going to Aston Villa.
Exactly. Yeah.
But with the Buendia thing, and I will say this, with the Buendia thing, and listen, do you know what?
I was
didn't
wounded.
surprise me. That was so Arsenal, like it didn't surprise me one bit. All right, because the way I hear it's about payment structure, it's so Arsenal. But also, a lot of people don't really talk about this little small key element, and I say it's a key element.
Mm-hmm.
Who's another Emmy that plays for Aston Villa?
Yeah, Martinez. Yeah.
Oh, he was a key agent in that. I don't care what anyone says.
Agent. That's what I'm saying. They had the same agent. People. There was a tweet about it within that time. Apparently, he was a key role. So, Martinez is obviously scarred because he put in a lot of work in the last 3 months, and then we just dashed him away. Like,
He was there for a decade.
He was there for 10 years. And he only got like 3 or 4 months of football. Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. The guy helped us win a trophy, and a shield. So you think to yourself, okay. And I actually wanted Emmy to stay. I said, "Oh, prove himself." You know, I'm old school. Yeah. If you've done well, you stay there till you make a mistake. He didn't really make any mistakes. No. You know. And then Leno comes in, and then he turns back into Fabianski. I've never really been a Leno fan, to be honest with you guys. He's made great saves, cool, but there's been so many times where I look at Martinez's traits and I'm like, yeah, Leno don't do that. And this season, I see Matt Ryan go up for a header against Fulham.
Yeah.
And yeah, he obviously, with his involvement, got Nketiah to get the equaliser from an embarrassing defeat anyways, as it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the next game against Everton, I'm seeing Leno do that. I'm like, you weren't doing that before, bro.
Nice back in goal
Like,
again. Yeah. Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, I've said this so many times. I don't like bringing it up saying we sold the wrong keeper, but we did. Do you know what I mean? And now they want to buy Onana.
Ryan, I said
Says
that
a lot,
earlier.
doesn't it? Says
Yep,
a
it
lot,
does.
doesn't it?
It does. I said that
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
And with Onana as well, it all depends on his doping ban, doesn't it? If he's going to get his ban
He could be
cut short,
back
which
from the 3rd of November.
October, November is what I've heard. Yeah.
3rd of November.
So that would be quite an
Fingers crossed.
interesting one. Whether we actually do manage to sign him and get him in. But it doesn't look like Luca's going to get on. I think I sent him the link over, but I don't think he's managed to get on. But Russ has got to go anyway. I think I'm actually going to wrap it up there. I'll do another one of these. I'll probably do another one of these maybe after the England game on Sunday or something like that, or on Monday. Sort of Sunday evening, maybe something like that, if anyone's free and wants to come on. But do you want to plug your channel? Obviously, you lot, either the stuff that you do, your own channel and the channels you're appearing on, and Ryan, of course, you're involved in a few bits as well.
A new resident at Cannon Chat TV. You can find us on YouTube, find us on Twitter at Cannon Chatter. We do follow people back, so if you drop us a follow, we will follow you back. Or if you want to follow me, you can find me at Lottie_B on Twitter. It's with Lottie with 2 I's because someone beat me to it.
So that's you're back with a show on Monday, an England show on Monday.
I'm back with the Rumour Mill and our England review on Monday at 9 o'clock. I've got 2 fantastic guests joining me and G. And also we are back on Friday night as well for a live reaction for after the Scotland game, which is going to be very interesting because it's our first one we're ever going to do.
It's going to be cracking as well to see how Kieran Tierney does the Arsenal man as well, if he gets in, and you know what happens with him, whether he plays left centre back or whatever for Scotland. But
he's down that left side. I'd love to see him come up against Saka. That would be so interesting to watch.
I'd
love to see it.
Yeah.
I'll be so torn with Scotland because of Tierney. I like Chad Adams as well, actually, so I'll be torn.
But I do think Tierney's wasted as that left centre back. He's wasted.
I think he is as well, to be honest. And Ryan, what's your channel? Do you want to plug your channel and where people can find you as well?
Well, thanks for having me on. Pleasure to meet you guys.
That's all right, mate.
As always. My channel, Ryan Williams AFC. Check it out. Let me know what you think as well. Content will be coming out very soon. More ranting, more me expressing my feelings. That's just what I do. And of course, on Twitter at RJ Wills. Follow me there. But thanks again. It was nice meeting you all.
Yeah, great to meet you, mate. Great to have you on. Great input as well into that. And Lottie, great to have you on. And Russ,
thank you.
You know, where can people find you? And of course, the commentary hub as well, where you know the commentary hub are going to cover the vast majority of the Euros in terms of games that are being covered in terms of commentaries.
Yes, you can find me on the commentary hub, all doing audio commentaries. I'll be on there tomorrow presenting all 3 games, and you can hear Mike tomorrow night on the Belgium game. So if you want to come and listen to that, just send across to Twitter, Commentary Live 1, and you can check out all the commentaries on there and see who else will be doing the commentaries on there as well. You can also check it out on my YouTube channel. Just search for Russ Ferdinand there, Mike's YouTube channel, Mike Orneman, and also on a friend's channel, JB Sports as well. Just search for them on YouTube and you'll be able to listen to all the commentaries there as well. And I'll be discussing all football going forward, commentaries next season as well in the Premier League. So you can find me then. I also do bits for Derbyshire Media Company covering Rotherham United and RB1 Radio as well. So I'll send bits across to them and put in the sport bulletins, and they'll be going to a few press conferences and that next season for Rotherham United. So you may be able to meet some of my bits on RB1 Radio. Just search for them on Twitter at RB1 Radio and listen via the website as well.
And you're also going to the press conference for, was it today you went, the Denmark conference?
Yeah, I was there earlier. We were from Denmark press conference ahead of the game with Finland tomorrow. So some interesting stuff there, but I will not reveal on the what I'm not going to reveal any info to.
Yeah, absolutely.
anyone.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Because in case any people from Finland are watching this and see the news and going to know anything from there.
It isn't a complete non-possibility, Russ. The fact I've got one of their goalkeepers' numbers in my phone, so
Yeah, no, right, yes, there might be someone listening. But cheers for having me on, mate. Good to meet you, Ryan and Lottie. Hopefully we'll speak again soon, guys. And I'll speak to you tomorrow night, Mike, for the commentary.
absolutely, yeah. So if you want to follow the channel, of course, if you're not following the Twitter page for the channel already, it's at Gooner Elite, and I also do other interviews and other bits and pieces for Stevenage as well, the Stevenage side of things, the SFC interviews, where I interview players from there. And I think I've spoken to about over 70 plus players now that have played for Stevenage in the last year or so. And then, obviously doing the bits and pieces there on the commentary hub as well. So just like Russ, just like Lottie, and just like Ryan, I'm also very, very busy over the next couple of months. But
Yes.
Thank you again. Also, thank you to Luke that come on earlier on, and anyone that's watched or going to watch this back. But we'll hopefully do another one of these again. And who's going to do it? Should I do it? Football's coming on.
Mike. See you guys.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, everyone.